Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Nazir daf Hey. We are going to begin on the bottom of Daled Amud Beis, about 8 lines from the bottom. V'shimshin lav Nazir havi. So we were making a distinction between a Nazir Olam and a Nazir Shimshin. So the Gemara asked, "Was ksiv ki Nazir lokimiyeh hanar min habeten?" We know that he did become a Nazir. So Gemara says, Hasam Malachu de Kaimer. In that situation, it's unique because he did not make himself into a Nazir, so it's not like a situation of a neder, which is the reason why, according to the Shita of Rav Shimon, he says that you can never become a Nazir Shimshin, because it's like being matfis b'davar aser. And when it comes to Shimshon, he was something which was always aser. It's not like he was mutter and then he made a neder to become a nazir, and then you could do such a thing. Then you'd be matfas adavar another. So menalon diatam lamesim. So we know, as we mentioned, that Shimshon, even though he's a nazir, he was allowed to become tummy mace. In fact, we do find in numerous episodes at the end of Sefer Shoftim that he did. So the pasuk says, "B'lechi hachamor hakiti elef ish." It says, with the jawbone of the donkey, he smote 1,000 people. Dilma gri garibahu. Maybe he shot them with it. V'nagabahu, but he didn't physically actually touch them. El mahacha v'yach mehem shleishim ish. It says he smote them, 30 people, v'yikach es chalitzaisam, and he took the clothing off them. So Dilma ashlichunan bereisha, maybe he stripped them first, v'hader kaltina, and then killed them. V'yach v'yikach siv, it says he hit them and then he took. The Dilma goysisin shavinan, maybe they weren't dead yet, maybe there was goysisin. El gamar gamirle. So even though you could possibly learn the psukim elsewhere in a different way, but it's a halach mosh mesina, then in fact that a Nazir Shimshin was not a become tummy mace. But Nazir Olam heichaksiv desanya. Rabbi Yomer Avshalom Nazir Olam haya. Avshalom, he was also a Nazir, and his status of being a Nazir was not on the level of Nazir Shimshin, but a Nazir Olam. Shnemer Vehimi Kates Arbaim Shan, after 40 years, V'yomer Avshalom El Hamelech. So Avshalom said to the king, El Chanam, I'll go, V'eshalom es nidare, and complete my neder, Asher nidarti el Hashem b'Chevron. So he made a neder, and he said, I'm going to go and fulfill the neder which I plan on keeping. And he would nonetheless, unlike what Shimshin was allowed to do, never allowed to cut his hair, even if it got long. However, he was allowed to do so once in 12 months. Yomim. Why Yomim? So the fact that it says that, as we continue to Hamad Aleph, the Yov Yomim Mibateri Chayma. We learn out from Bateri Chayma Mahasam, when it comes to this walled city, Yud Beis Chaydesh, says the Farish, Dechsebahu Yomim Tiagulasai. You have a year to redeem. Malhon Yud Beis Chaydesh Kan Farish Beikra. The pasuk says that if you don't redeem it, Ad Maloislo Shana Tamim, until a full complete year is done, etc. So Afkan Yud Beis Chaydesh. So too, when it comes to him, even though he's a Nazir Olam, he's allowed to cut his hair once in 12 months. Rav Naraya Omer, he disagrees and says, we'll see why. He said you actually can cut your hair once in 30 days. Rav Yossi Omer Erev Shabbos every week. That they actually would cut their hair every Erev Shabbos. And therefore, Avshalom, who's a Bnei Melech, so therefore he was able to do so the same. TB 11, also question 11. How often is he allowed to cut his hair? Once a year, maybe only once a month, or even once a week. Okay. So Gemara asked the following question. So my time of the Rebbe, why does Rabbi say this din? Yom Bateri Chayma. So he learns that, as we saw before, from Bateri Chayma, which is 12 months. Rabbi says that the word Yomim cannot be less than 2. As we look in the Mefarish in Sechtes Erechin, Yomim Tiegulaso, Ein Yomim Pechusim Mishnayim. Yomim cannot be less than 2, because it's in Lashon Rabbim. She'imbo Ligoila B'Oisa Yomim, if you wish to redeem on that day, Shemishkanalo Any Yachal Ligoila. You can't redeem it on that day. Ad shiavru of beis yomim. You have to wait 2 days. V'neimanami de Avshalom megaleh chayil shnei yomim. Maybe the same thing that Avshalom used to shave after 2 days. So Gemara says, Haigzer Shabbat Mishum Kovid Gomer. It has to do with the fact that his hair grew long. Shnei Yomim Maleka Kovid. The person's hair is not going to grow long just in the period of 2 days. So we can't say 2 days. It must be a much lengthier amount of time. As we look in the top Taisus, the Darish Miyamim Tieg Gulasai Shein Hamaycher Yachol Go B'Fachs Mishnei Yomim. So therefore, it can't be 2 days. So it must be the drush is a year. Maybe it's 2 years. So it says over there should be 2 years. So done in yamim shein imahen shanim, miyamim shein imahen shanim, val yoichiach zeh sheishim shanim. So this pasuk says shnasayim yamim, and the pasuk regarding bati orichayma, it says yamim tiagulasai. So therefore, we would rather make a drasha from Bati Rechaima, which has that has yomim without the word shanim, from another drasha from over here, which has yomim with the word shanim, and as opposed to it says Vahimi Ketchnasayim yomim, which it also has yomim and shanim. So therefore, because of that, it's not as exact. So maybe 30 days because that pasuk done in yamim she'enim ahem chadashim, yamim she'enim ahem chadashim, ve'al yochiach zeh she'eshim chadashim. Has the word months in it, which is not as consistent as the pasuk. So Gzer Shava, we want to be able to match two seemingly unrelated topics which have words what are more related to one another. Ve'emim mahacha miyamim yamima v'gaimer. Why don't you learn out from this pasuk? Yamim yamima techlena benos Yehuda benos Yisrael lisnos lavas yiftach dal yamim b'shana, 4 days a year. Dahainu yom echad l'shloisha chadashim, once every 3 months. So hachinami, why don't we say the same thing? Nema demigalech le'avshalom l'gimel chadashim. It's every 3 months. So maybe you can learn out from that pasuk. Maybe you could do that too. So Gemara says, no, we're not going to learn out from miyamim yamima. Why not? Ve'emim v'hacha miyamim yamima gaimer. So danim yamim yamim, ve'in danim yamim yamima. The word yamima is less comparable to yamim. So as we find so many times throughout Shas, umay nafka mina. What's the nafka mina? Regarding the din of Saras, the din there, he goes in to lock the door, to go in, to go out. So we end up making Gzer Shav over there, says the Mefarish. It's a week to that there's seclusion of that house. In other words, if over there where you have two totally different words, Vashav and Va, nonetheless there's a Gzer Shava. So over here, the fact that it says Yomim or Yamima, that shouldn't be a reason to exclude. So my answer is, as we always find the same Shak of Ataria so many times throughout Shas. You're right. If there's no other way to compare it, then we're going to compare it even though the words are not so similar. However, since we have a more exact phrase, we're going to go with the more exact phrase, which is Badi Batari Chayma. Fine. So, so Ika di Amri, some say Menad Yadina the Chotlasi Yarchin Chad Zimna. How do we know that every 3 months is one time? Dilma Arba Zimni Bashata. Maybe it's 4 times a year. Inabi Arba Yarchin Chad Zimna, maybe 4 months is one time. Train Yarchin Bachad Zimna, 2 months is one time. So now we go back to this other point, that there was an opinion that you can do once a month. My timer. So this we haven't said the reason yet. So now we finally get to the answers. Because Gabi Kohanim, Mishum Ika Kovid, Hachanami Ika Kovid. When it comes to a Kohen Hedget, the din is that we also tell him that he's supposed to cut his hair once in 30 days. So, and the reason is because of COVID. We don't want his hair to get too long. So too, when it comes to a Nazir oil, we can cut every 30 days. Rabbi Yosef Megalech Erev Shabbos once a week. So my Ika B'nei L'shar Achua. The question is, you make yourself to a Nazir oilam, but you're really not much different than a regular Kohen who cuts his hair on every Erev Shabbos anyway. Or as he framed it up here, so Yom Tishachal Yos Be'emsa Shabbos. So you're right. On Erev Shabbos, you do it anyway. But what happens if Yom Tov falls like on a Tuesday? So Diachuhi Megalchen. So all of his brethren will cut their hair. However, Hu Megaleach, he won't do it because he doesn't have kovid. It's not long. Igam Inami Legluchim and Safra Demali Shabbata Achui Megalchen Ihu Megaleach. For him to cut early Friday morning, his brothers would do it, but Shalom would not do it at Panya until later on, until the afternoon. It says Taisus, him time of Alayim Benema de Ika Binayu Karbanis. Who maybe will hain. Why don't you just say Poshet Teretz? Whether or not there's a Nazir oil has to bring carbonos, they don't have to bring carbonos because they're not a Nazir. They show hachikamer. My ika b'nei b'tegalachas the kaimer gra. Specifically when it comes to cutting your hair. But he miketz yomim asher yagleach mishum demisgalachas hi me'acher. How do we find this distinction between cutting hair and not cutting the hair? Hani arboim shana ma'avidetaihu. So these 40 years, ma'avidetaihu, what became of them? What was the status of them? So on this, so we look in Mefarish, we know that David was only the Melech for 37 years. So why does it say for 40 years? So on this, the Gemara answers, Rav Nerai Omer Mishum Rav Yeshua L'Kates Mem Shana. At the end of the 40 years, Sheshol Hen Melech, that they're asking for a king. Tana Oiser Shana, in that year, Sheshol Hen Melech, they asked for a king. Hishnas Eser with Shmuel Haramasi. This was year 10 of Shmuel Haramati. Okay. So we look in the Rosh. The Rosh on the side says, "My tamigabi kohanim mishum deika kovid v'kohanim gufi yalfinan para Nazir." So we learn out 30 days. The megalchin l'lamid yoim v'hadol yolf Nazir oilam mistam Nazir. Why don't we just learn out straight, right? Learn straight from a regular Nazir. Mishum dehasam dinhu de megaleach mishum deshalmu yomov. The reason why he can cut his hair is because his 30 days have been completed. But Nizirusai, Hilkach Yolaf Mekayin Deloy Paska Kunaso Megaleach. Since both the Kohen and the Nazir Oilam is forever, as opposed to just a regular Stam Nazirus, as we're going to see, even though it's also, you could say it was 30 days, we're slowing out from a regular Nazirus. So a Nazir Oilam to a regular Nazir, because after those 30 days, he's not a Nazir anymore. So we want to be able to compare it to some situation where the individual is a Nazir forever, or he, just like a Kohen, is forever. Mastisen. Stam Nazir Salam Yoim. Pretty short Mishnah. So if a person makes a decoration saying that you're a Nazir, that's going to be for 30 days, or maybe not. Minah. So how do we know? So Omer Rav Mas Namar Kra Kaddish Yeh. So yeah, but Gematria Tosan Havi. The fact that it says yeah, Yud Hey, that's a numerical value of 30. So Barpada Omer Keneged Nazir. Nizr Hamur and Batayro Lamed Chasar Achas. So actually, Barpada disagrees, which is question 12. Kama Yomim Haim Stam Nazirus. It's either 30. Barpada actually says it's for 29 days. Fine. So on this, Varamasna Nami Nelch Menazir Nizroi. So why doesn't he also learn out from the same pasuk? Sarmulachahu Ladrasha. As we said, that you're not a Nazir, is not allowed to drink not only regular wine, but also l'shem mitzvah, which we said maybe means Havdalah or Kiddush, which we had a question on that. Maybe it's talking about he made a neder or shvuah before regarding drinking wine. And is he going to be chayiv twice if you hold Isser Chalal Isser? Okay. So, ki yafli linder neder nazal hazir malamish and Nazirus Chalal Nazirus. That one Nazirus is Chalal another Nazirus. Says the Mefarish, She'im oimer hareini Nazir. Im oichel kikar zu. If a person says, I'm going to be a Nazir if I eat this bread. You said a second time, the achla minus shtei nazirus. So it actually counts twice. The avagav the kikar achas, it's the same bread. Chal nazirus al nazirus. One nazirus can be chal on another nazirus. So that's why it says, kiyafa linder neder nozul hazir. So that's the drasha. So therefore, the fact that you already have this pasuk that teaches this din is not coming to tell us this notion of whether or not this individual is going to be a Nazir for 29 days, rather than Nazirus, Stam Nazirus is going to be for 30 days. Okay. So as we continue to Hey Amud Beis. So the Gemara continues says like this. Ubar Pada, who says the Nazirus is actually for 29 days, Amach will tell you, Lekachad min hoin, the lav drasha. It's not any of them which is not for a drasha. Says the Mefarish, Atu what? Milek achad minayadol also drasha? They all come from a drasha. Ella midahahu leminyana kuhu nami leminyana. Since that one is a number, so this one, all of them are a number. So therefore he says it's coming to tell you it's going to be 29. Tanan. Stam nazir shloshim yom. Now that sounds very clear, not like Bar Pada. Now Bishlam around Masna Nichel Bar Pada Kasha. It sounds clearly that very clear. It's not like Bar Pada. It's very, very clear. So Amrullah Bar Pada added Ika Yoim Tlasin since the 30th day the Megaleach maybe Karbonosa Misham Hachitana Shloishim. The truth is it's 29 days. What you have to do is you have to wait until the 30th day to actually go and bring your karbanos. So therefore, that's the reason why he mentions 30 days, because you actually do have to do something on the 30th day. So you look in the Taisus. Ad tlasin yomi kilachat chila efshir lahavi karbanaisa b'chav tes efilo bar pada elo b'yom shloishim. Even Bar Pada holds that you're not allowed to bring the karbanos on the 29th day. You have to wait until the 30th day. Tanan. Mishem hareini Nazir. Person makes this declaration. Megalech yom shloishim. He shaves on the 30th day. Shloshim echad on the 31st day. Now again, Bishul l'rav masna nicha, because he's saying Nazirus is 30 days, and on the 31st day is when you do the shaving, and then you also do the karbanos. Elo bar pada kasha. Why the 31st day? It should be on the 30th day. Amalach bar pada ima seifa. Im gilech liyom shleishim. If you did shave on the 30th day, yotza. So that seems to be a little bit problematic according to the opinion of Rav Masna. Why would you be allowed to shave on the 30th day? The 30th day, you're still a Nazir. You have to wait till the next day. El seifa misayle reisha. So the seifa supports the reisha. Nasika Eimer Shalimin. It's like he said Shalimin. And on this we look at the Rosh. Klaimer. Afal Gab the Stam Nazirus Chav Tes Yoim. Even though it's true that Nazirus is 29 days, Gazra Chachamim Ben Sheomer Hareini Nazir Stam Ben Sheomer Hareini Nazir Chav Tes Yoim. Shehi Nazir Lamed Yoim. Ikar and Din, you're right. Nazirus, I'm telling you, is only 29 days, but it's possible a person could have explained and said clearly beforish that the Nazirus for him is going to be for 30 days. And therefore we make a gezerah, even though Stam Nazirus is 29 days, but nonetheless we're going to make this always 30 days because of the confusion if a person makes a shalim. In his Mefarish, he explains which it would be 30 days, which means he would have to bring the karbanos on the 31st day. So therefore we say that we're going to push it off also when it comes to Stam Nazirus as well. Continuing in the Rush, Avisha minhag hazeh hu b'mnei adam mi'achar shestam nazir hu chsaiser leminyan lamed ra'chaser yom echad hanen Nazirus Mefarish lamed yoim shehu minyan shalim kach gazer b'kulon lamed yoim v'yigalech b'yom lamed v'alev which explains if you shave on the 30th day, you're yotza, because Me'ikra din, that's the regular day you're allowed to do it. according to this opinion, because Stam Naziris is 29 days. But we want you to do the 31st day, so there's no confusion. However, the reality is, if you would have shaved and done all the karbanos on the 30th day, it's perfectly fine, because that's really the day you're supposed to do it. So he says, as we know, the famous expression, many places, that mixes Yom Kikulo, and therefore, because of that, Naziris is really for 30 days. However, says Taisus, Hilkach, im gilach b'yom shloishim, yotza, kivan shiasa mixas hayoyim b'Naziris, since part of the day was a Nazir, so therefore, you can also bring your karbanos then. So why isn't that l'chatchila? Says Taisus, mi l'chatchila lo yigalech el b'yom shloishim yachad. You rather prefer you wait until the 31st day to complete it. But the truth is, technically, mixas Yom Kikulo, since you were a Nazir for part of it, is good enough. Says Taisus, Omar Pada, Leisle mixas Yom Kikulo. He doesn't hold of this drasha of mixas Yom Kikulo. Let's just see two more lines. Nan. Hareini Nazir shloshim yoyim. Person's Nazir for 30 days, so it makes that declaration, Im gilach yoyim lamid lo yatsa, right? It says if you shave on the 30th day, you're not yatsa. But which is mashma, we don't say mixas Yom Kikuloi. So ba'omer shalimin, if he accepted the full 30 days. So if he said shalimin, so in that situation, then in fact that is the din, that you have to wait until the 31st day. It says Taisus, second wide line, Mashani ba'omer shalimin, Pirush, Afal gav demasnis stam katani shloshim yoim, if you'll hachi, kivan diam shloshim yoim, Lishni Aserahu, since you specified it, if you'll stam around masna, havi shloshim yoim, has to be 30 days. V'chi yamar haredi shloshim yoim, havi ki'ilu omar shalimin. B'leika mermer mixes kikul, kach im gilach miyam shloshim lo yatsa. So since you specified in that situation, not going to be yatsa. Okay, we're going to stop there. Let's see question TA 10. Tanan stam nazir shloshim yoim, adu im ki nazir shegalech liyam shloshim yatsa. Two answers. How is it possible if you shave on the 30th day, it's your yatsa? Either because maybe Stam Naziris is really 29 days, and therefore you're allowed to shave on the 30th, or because Stam Naziris is 30 days, however you hold the concept of mixas yom kikulo adkan.